Yo, 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 what's up? This is the Daily Bread Culture coming to you with chapter two. I myself am Adolphus Savage, or as I like to be called, the Reverend Savage. And of course, I am with the homie that is too legit to quit. To quit. Dang, I'm tripping already. I'm drunk. My bad. But I'm with the homie too legit to quit. Ron, we're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off right for episode two. So what I wanted to get into was we read a post not too long ago from a friend of ours, mutual friend by the name of Ryan, that basically asked about home cooking. What he wanted to know was the reason why people as a whole no longer cooked cooked meals as much. And then it went from that to ultimately Venus versus Mars situation where it was, why don't your new age women cook anymore? And I had some very interesting takes on that. The first thing I thought was, nowadays you have, and I'm not going to go into the single mother epidemic, but nowadays you have a lot of families that are two working households. Or if it's not two working households, you have a kid or two or three or four, I know some with. And I would have to think, just with my dealings with young kids, especially toddlers and even babies, it had to be pretty hard to cook a home cooked meal. The other thing that I think is an issue is you have so many healthy alternatives or cheaper alternatives than to sit there and try to go out to the store and buy a full course meal, which is another issue in itself, because I do feel like nowadays a lot of us don't really go grocery shopping anymore. Like, I know for myself, I buy a couple items here and there, pretty much what I'm going to cook the day of, and then I'm just gone. And so it's kind of like, it's really hard to think, hey, I'm going to work 8 to 10 hours or be out 10 to 12 hours, get some food, come home and cook right away. So those are my quick hits on that. I'm going to pass it over to the homie, Ron. What are your thoughts on home cooking in the 21st century?
Man, well, my thoughts on that is get off your lazy asses and cook. Now, let me stop playing. Seriously, man, in these days and times, I don't really have the time for it sometimes, really. When I want to cook a meal, I don't want to be rushed to do it. A lot of times, me being lazy, I might forget to take that pack of meat out the freezer, just to be honest with you, because I'm just lazy. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, a lot of times, that's one of the things that really gets frustrating. If I forgot to take it out the night before, then you come home. Definitely, if you work a late schedule like I do, you come home and you look at the time like, I don't even want to eat no more. Like, half the time, like, I get home, I don't want to eat no more because it's so late. And then two, it's actually deciding what in the hell we gonna eat. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's not something that I want to cook, trying to figure out that one thing is like a fight waiting to happen. Like, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna eat? I don't know. It's like, that's like the $1 million question. What are we gonna eat? We hungry as a motherfucker, but we ain't got not a clue to eat what to eat.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That is something that's going to cause a lot of arguments. It's probably been causing arguments since the beginning of the time, is what are we going to eat?
It's
So,
probably gonna cause an argument once it's heard.
heck yeah. But my thing is, I mean, like, one of the posters was saying, that his mother worked 3 jobs and still came home and put the food on the table. I know my mom would work a bunch of jobs, but she wouldn't necessarily cook every day. Like, we cook every couple of days or every other day or something like that. We still get our home cooked meals, but with it just being me and her from a time perspective, hey, you pick the little nigga up a Happy Meal, you get her, like, she doesn't eat a lot, so she just may eat some fries, a Happy Meal for me, we're done. As opposed to you trying to cook a full course meal, which is, like you said, you got to take the time. You got to take the time to take the meat out. Me, I have to mentally prepare myself to do the cooking too. Like, There comes a time where I might be like, okay, well, I want this today. And as the day progresses, I'm like, nah, I don't want that. Like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I cooked some salmon, and while I was cooking the salmon, I just was like, well, dang, man, I want some spaghetti. I want some spaghetti. And ultimately, I came back and cooked the spaghetti later on because, of course, salmon's not going to fill you up. So I ended up having to be in the kitchen twice. And it's being in the kitchen. The kitchen's hot. It's the summertime. Then I have to turn around and clean up all the dishes, sweep, do all this stuff. I'm probably going to waste a bunch of paper towels. I just feel like in this day and age, and even if I want to be healthy, I can go to the local juice bar that's down from my job, get a healthy juice in. I can also turn around and go to, um, a Chipotle that has healthy alternatives. Or hey, if I want to eat unhealthy, I can go to KFC and get a bucket of chicken for $14 with two sides. Whereas yesterday I went to the store and clearly spent $18 to cook a spaghetti meal. So to me, the food has become so cheap that you really don't have to go out and cook a meal every day, a home cooked meal, especially, and even like back on the women point, nowadays it's not like it was in the 50s and 60s and the 70s. You have more women that are out here being active and being in the workforce. So, I kind of feel for them because why should they have to cook if they've been at a job for 6 to 8 hours or 9 hours? They come home, you got to pick up the kids from daycare, you got to clean up the house, then you got to slave over this stove, then you got to clean the kids up, clean the kitchen up, clean your husband up, clean the dishes up, clean the laundry up, clean this up, clean that up, give some sex to your husband. You got down. You're probably like, well, shit, I'm worn out from the day. And then they expect a woman to do that every day? Like, that's crazy.
And luckily, my wife don't have to, struggle about that by herself. I mean, thank God I'm a man that don't mind cooking, getting in, cleaning up. Sometimes I find myself doing these things a lot. We switch off. Uh, I do feel bad for the women who got men who just gonna say off the rip that, hey, I don't do that type of stuff. That's my wife's job to do, but mind, helping out, getting in there, cooking, doing my thing. And then plus I goddamn know what I want to eat some days, and then I don't want to have to settle, and I want it to taste a certain way, so I might just cook. But I mean, truthfully, when they come down the whole cooking epidemic, the meat nowadays, sometimes it feels like it's cheaper to go out and buy some shit. Sometimes that's how it feels. Because hell, when I buy groceries, I'd be done spent $50 real easily, and I'd be like, damn, what did I buy? Recipe might call for all these different little things. You buying all these vegetables and these different little meats and all this shit. And next thing you know, you realize you need to get some juice or this or that. Next thing you know, you done spent $50 real quick. And shit, I could have just spent $20, $25. And shit, I could have, probably, bought something from like Popeyes or something and still have lunch for tomorrow. So it's sad because I mean, also with us doing things like this, our generation, we out here, we taking chances on our health by not cooking at home, and also we tapping our pockets out, if we not, planning out these meals the proper
not
way too.
necessarily, because like I said, you can go to a place like a Chipotle and pick some healthy alternatives, and then voila, I'm getting a healthier meal, and I may still be saving time because you got to think, okay, you and I, we make so and so dollars an hour, so that's what we're used to. So let's say we'll give it a round number of 20. We're making $20 an hour. So I have to come home, I have to go to the grocery store that day or the day before, whatever. Then I got to cook and clean. So right now in my time, I'm probably spending an additional at least $30 for an hour and a half to cook the food, as well as, cook the food and go ahead and clean up and different stuff like that, set up to eat. So it is, to me, even from a cost perspective, you're not even really saving that much because, now I have to cook and I have to clean. half of the time, I mean, sometimes I'll cook kind of healthy, but I'm not the healthiest cooker in the world. So who knows what I'm going to do? You know what I'm saying? That's at least the way that I feel.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, I look at it like this, man. I feel like if I'm gonna make something, I'm gonna log my ass in the Pinterest. I'm gonna see all these nice looking dishes, and it ain't nothing healthy every time. Like I'm gonna see some shit that I probably have no business eating. Lemon butter chicken, or goddamn spicy baked chicken tenders with barbecue sauce on them, and all these
Oh,
little,
dang.
you know. I'm gonna skip over the granola. I'm gonna skip over all that shit. I'm gonna look at the goddamn shepherd's pie. That's the type of shit I'm gonna make every time without fail. I'm not trying to even hear when it comes down to eating healthy when I'm finna make something most of the time. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the healthy argument for us is kind of, that's a mute point in a way. I ain't
yeah,
gonna eat healthy anyway.
yeah, that's why I'm saying we messing with our health because I mean, if I'm eating out, if I'm going to KFC or if I'm going to Popeyes, I'm going to Wingstop. I'm a Wingstop veteran. They know my name when I walk in there. It's that sad. Hey, Ron.
Dang.
I'm talking about damn. I feel like I'm VIP up in that bitch. Like I walk in Wingstop, they know my name, first name basis. And then
Oh,
people be
shoot.
like, "Well, how they know your name like that?" And people be jealous of it. They know my voice over the phone, man. I feel like I got a relationship. That shit. Ooh, I gotta be careful with calling up that at Wingstop. They be knowing my name. Hey, Ron. Oh shit, my wife right here. But yeah, truth be told, man, I feel like I do gotta eat at home more. Try to watch out for these restaurants that giving people cloned chickens and uh hamburgers that won't even melt if you put it in hot lava. We tearing up our bodies out here, man. Um that's probably why we
Yeah,
so
doing
dysfunctional
that.
nowadays.
Yeah, doing some of the things. I definitely agree with that. We do have to take the time to kind of know and grow. And hey, man, if I had a home and a little bit of extra land in the back, shoot, I'd probably grow some of my own vegetables. At least try to cut down on some of that that you may be getting. And I think it's something that'll be fine. But to me, once again, getting back to the topic at hand, choosing to cook or not, I don't think that makes a person lazy. I just think that the times are different. When we
Yeah,
were coming up in the late 80s, early 90s, and even the 2000s, it wasn't as many alternatives to food. I mean, basically, everybody was like, I don't know if some of the different places had to go options. Now we have stuff as Postmates. In the certain cities, we have Uber Eats. And like I said, a lot of restaurants just have a to go. You just slide right through, get you something, and you're done. As opposed to, like I couldn't imagine being a woman, a single parent, and having to come home and cook every day. Like that expectation is just off.
yeah, man. If y'all got y'all woman out here just cooking the food by herself, be careful for them jokers just like me, man. That's at the house cooking. Y'all gonna mess around. Y'all gonna be single out here. You know what I'm saying? You got one of these chubby cats like myself that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna come home and cook and shit. Don't mind cleaning up. Y'all ass gonna be single, man. I'm telling you, man. We gonna fuck around and cook some of that goddamn orange chicken shit off of Pinterest, and then y'all ass gonna be around here looking sick, man. Wondering what happened. You're gonna be right here saying, Carl Thomas, I wish I never met her, but it was your fault,
Mm-hmm.
fool.
And that's another thing that I do agree with is, and I mean, I know you touched on it, but I didn't really get to touch on it as much. But nowadays, as men in a household, if you want more food to be cooked, you can cook it. I mean, like, I know I talk to people all the time, and I'm just like, look, it's as simple as looking it up on YouTube. I am not ashamed to say that when I need some reassurance about something, I just look it up on YouTube. If it's a meal that I've never had before, I look it up on YouTube. I watch Cooking Network. I really follow Gordon Ramsay. Like, actually, I took one of his like, he had a simple hamburger recipe, and I was like, well, dang, I make my hamburgers this way. Let me try it his way. Try it his way at home. It was just a few extra ingredients added to it. It was so good. And I was
Mm.
just like, dang, or just, one of them was The Country Woman or something like that. I go to her website, grab some stuff. But in this day and age, if you're a guy, you should have been evolved beyond hamburger helper, ramen noodles, your basic meals. Like learn how to cook some quick meals. And that was one thing that I think that my mother excelled at was she can cook a quick meal. She can have some thin ground chuck steaks or sirloins or whatever. Sometimes we have ribeyes or whatever, throw them in the oven real quick while she's doing the other stuff. Be able to whip up rice, mashed potatoes, a green vegetable, collard greens, or something like that, or beans, and we're good to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's a home cooked meal, but it's a quick meal. It's not something that you're cooking for 3-4 hours. It's something you could probably get out of the way in like 30-45 minutes. So that's
I'm
something. Go ahead.
I'm gonna help some of you lazy shitheads out here, man. Go get you a timer, get you a crock pot, get you a Pinterest app on your phone. Be crock pot shorty, but guess what? You're cooking.
Hey, that crock pot is a lifesaver because in the wintertime, man, I go in there, I make my chili, I make my little beef stew or whatever I'm gonna do, and boom, you have a home cooked meal. You do it at night before you go to bed. Set it on the low temperature. It'll be ready for you to take to lunch in the morning. Keep it on that low temperature throughout the day. It'll be still as heated up once you get home from work. So yeah, that was an excellent tip on that crock pot. And
And
like I
and
said,
don't forget, if you don't like that taste that the crock pot sometimes leave off, you always buy crock pot liners. Thank you.
yeah, or that too, which I didn't know about the crock pot liner, so that's good. My only thing is, fellas, don't be so hard on the ladies. Don't call them lazy or anything like that because it's really not that serious. And I mean, ultimately, just treat the ladies better. But
Nah, she's sorry. Call her ass out.
you can call out. But want to get into this women rights, slut walks, the rise to power for women, feminism. I'm gonna kick it over to you. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, so I do believe women can do whatever they want to do, man. I feel like they shouldn't be limited. But if you feel like you can, if you one of them overachievers, little feminist women that talk all that shit, if you say you can do everything a man can do, I really want you to do everything. If we gonna be equal, motherfucker, I want you to be equal with me. So that means if it's pouring down rain, if I got the car last time, you gonna walk your ass out there and go get that goddamn car this next time. So if a motherfucker trying to fight me, if I fought the motherfucker last time, you put your dukes up the next time. So that means you gonna knuckle up the next time and fight. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, so you're talking about just basically throwing being a gentleman out the window for equal rights.
if we gonna be equal, women can do everything a man can do. If that's how you rock, and if I'm not saying all women talk that type of shit, I appreciate the women that don't get all crazy with it. But for the ones that be talking that extra shit, if you see that snake in the yard, you get your ass out there and kill it next time. Cause I killed the one last time. If we gonna really go half and half, that's how we gonna do it. Then we got to really goddamn do it that way. But taking out the trash, you can take that trash out. I took it out yesterday. You know, we gonna really goddamn split this shit down the middle. I really feel like, yeah, if we gonna be equal, if you want the feminists that's over the top, I feel like you really, 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 really need to goddamn see what it's like to be a man. And you know what? You need to be like one of them studs. That's what they call studs. Shout out to all my studs that's out there, man. They don't be complaining about shit. They just be the ones that be out there like famous, like Amber Rose and shit. Whenever they feel like it's time for them to get in front of the camera, they're feminists. But other than that, they just hoeing and just trying to find a way to make people feel bad if they call them out on it. Like that's really how I feel about that slut shit. And I kick it back to you. I'll be back in a second.
Do the things that you be about what you're talking about. if we could take it all the way to the hood sentence. So don't sit here and try to emasculate me, but then I have to do all these heavy duty things. But then again, me as a man, it's some stuff that I take pride in doing, taking out the trash and, killing the snakes or doing whatever it is. You feel good about that as a protector. As far as the Amber Rose thing, I mean, for that, like some of the stuff that she does, like such as the slut walk, I feel like she takes it and does it as a publicity stunt. I think she takes away from the true meaning, which it was derived from, which is, to raise awareness about rape, basically stating, hey, just because I wear, these type of clothes or act this type of way, that doesn't mean that you should sexually assault me. That's good, but what does it have to do with posing butt naked? Essentially, like that doesn't make sense, and you're not going to get that credibility that you're looking for by doing things like that. So that's my take on the Amber Rose situation. I mean, hey, you know what? Her as a bigger name, maybe she does bring more awareness to it. But I think what she's ultimately doing is lying in her pockets. The feminist, for the most part, I mean, I understand you want equal rights. The only thing that I hate about feminists and even our LBGTQ, whatever community is, I don't necessarily care for the way that they will mirror the civil rights movement and act as if that is the same thing they're going through. And when I say that, when you talk about the civil rights, I can never hide who I am as a black person. You could never hide what you go through as a Latina, as an Asian, as whoever. But you can walk around and hide the fact that you are homosexual or heterosexual. You can mask that. It's no way I can mask this so you don't know the same struggle that I know. And I think a lot of times they try to get away with that. Like they try to say, hey, we're discriminated on just like the black people. No, you're not. It's
And that's the most
completely different.
laughable. That's the most laughable thing about that. Since you're going deeper into the whole slut thing, man, like that's more the deeper part of it. And what's funny about it is you don't really see them supporting black women too much either. Like if you really pay attention, I don't really see them feminists supporting black women too much. And it seems like the feminist women has a thing to always go after African American men more than they go after, prominent white men like the president. Like I understand they did that march and they did have, that, but they don't do it as often as they would if when Kendrick Lamar had the little song, "Let me see some ass with the stretch mark." The very next day after the song was released, feminists is upset because of Kendrick Lamar's reaction to statement on the song, "Be Humble." Like I always see feminists targeting black people a lot, and I don't see feminists supporting black women enough either. So
No,
I just
that's
wanted
one
to
of
put
the
that
things
out
that
there.
they don't do is they want to use us to gain what they need to gain or to mirror what we did in certain movements and then turn around and when we need the help, nah, we ain't with them. And that was one thing that and I apologize because his name escapes me at the time, but one of the big dogs in the Black Lives Matter movement who happens to be gay, you know,
D-Ray,
yeah,
DeRay,
D-Ray. Yeah, something like that.
yeah,
And
DeRay.
it's like, bruh, you need to choose one side or the other because at the end of the day, they're not supporting the black movement. They just supporting their rights. And like I said, it annoys me when you'll see, hey, we're all for women's rights. Okay, black women, there's Spanish women. We're talking about all women. Hey, we're for gay rights. Okay, are you really for the right? I mean, if you talk about gay rights, what about the black man that's being discriminated? What
How
about
come they? How come they
the
not
man
wasn't
that's
attacking
getting killed?
somebody? What's the guy when he called the girl nappy headed hoes? what were they at when he called black women nappy headed hoes, or where
Rush
were they?
Limbaugh or whoever he was, I forgot.
Imus or something like that, I think.
Oh, Don Imus, yeah.
Or or even when people be going at Serena Williams the way they do, where are they at for her?
Nowhere to be found.
Like, so I always find that to be funny, man. Like, you don't hear them speaking of. I don't hear them saying that she's beautiful or hey this and that. So I kind of find that feminist shit to be a joke because they don't all stand for all women. Seem like, and maybe once they hear that they will start, but it don't seem that way.
Yeah, I believe you right like that. So at this time, I'm ready to close this chapter. I'm ready to go and rejoice and say his name. Can I get a amen?
Yeah, hell no. That's not my style. But I tell you what, we writing this book, man, and y'all gonna be along with us for the ride. It's gonna be like year 300, like real 30, 15 or something, and there's gonna be people talking about the book of Ron and the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying?
And this daily bread culture. And I just want to give a shout out to a few people real quick. Of course, as always, y'all can catch myself and Ron on the committee podcast. You can always find me at Dolphins_Savage on all of the social medias without the E on Facebook. Look out for us on the Twitter with the Daily Bread Cult. And y'all, whenever you're ready, join our cult. I'm out.
All right, and you can find me behind your mama. You people out here listening, you know what I'm saying? I'm just playing. I'm married. But nah, seriously speaking, I'm actually on Facebook. I'm Ron Howard II. You know what I'm saying? You can find me on Facebook. You got to send me a personal request. If you're a dickhead, I'm not going to accept. And then on Instagram, classic, CLASSICK 904 on Instagram. And I'm still trying to get the hang of Twitter because it kind of, I'm a boisterous person. I like to talk, all that typing and shit. I ain't with it. So hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, and we can continue more conversations there.
All right, man. Any last sayings before we exit this one?
Yeah. If you don't give me heaven, I'm gonna raise hell until it's heaven.
Amen to that, and we out.
Ho.